Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome to a quick little instructional video. I'm just gonna pretty much go over my equipment a little more in depth. I kind of gave you guys a little insight what stuff was, but a lot of people are asking what stuff is specifically. So I'll go through, I'll explain the function of what everything is and what it does. This is a traditional archery setup, of course, and it's not the same for, you know, competition recurve or competition compound. So anyway, let's go through everything. First of all, we start off very basically. This is the bow. This is actually called a self bow because it's very simple. It was made by my dad, who is, you know, he's not a professional bow maker. This is something you'd see, you know, back in the day. So this bow is 67 inches long. So the 67-inch long bow from tip to tip, and I believe that is when it is strung. Maybe it's when it's unstrung, I can't remember. Anyway, it's 50 pounds at 28 inches, which means when I pull it back, say right in there, that's probably 28 inches, so that's 50 pounds. Anything more is gonna be more poundage because it stacks. It'll probably be about 53, 55 once you get it back to 30 inches, and then less, you know, as you go down. That's just the way a longbow works. It's different than a recurve because it stacks weight more. So anyway, he wrapped the handle just with a simple string. So that way when I put my hand on it, I just pretty much get my hand, try and get it in the same place every time, and then I rest the arrow on my hand and make sure it's nocked correctly, and it just shoots like that. Most bows, they'll have what's called a shelf, which is like it's like a cutout so that the arrow can rest there instead. It's actually a little more accurate because it's center shot, whereas you see this bow, you see that bow, how it's from the string to the bow, the strings line up with the bow, but then the arrow's off sitting at the side. That's not center shot. That's the way a self bow works because it's going to be sitting on my hand. So you have to have a more flexible arrow that will go around. When you shoot when you release the bow, the arrow flexes around the shelf or the bow, and then it'll straighten out. That's just the way it's designed. So center shot bows that have cutouts are a little more accurate, which is, I'm getting one of those soon. So, I mean, you can get similar accuracy out of these. It's just a little harder to tune. Anyway, then we go to the string. My dad actually made this too, which I'd forgotten about. It's a Flemish splice bowstring. I think it's made of a Dacron 50, if I remember correctly. I can't remember though. Don't quote me on that. And it's got, what happens is, it's the regular string all the way up until the end. Made it so it goes around the nocks of the bow. And then a little nock point right here to where you put the arrow consistently. And then it's, I can't remember that. I can't remember terms like I used to be able to. Anyway, it's just coated, it's kind of coated in like another kind of string around here to reduce wear on the regular bow, or the regular bowstring. I apologize, by the way, if you guys know archery and you're laughing at me right now, because I don't know what I'm talking about in some of this stuff. So that's simple enough, that's the bow. Now we have, I'll put my arrow back, we have what's called the arm guard, and I actually need the bow for this too. The arm guard is what you need. It's used for a couple different purposes. One is, of course, is to keep the string from slapping up against your arm, because that can get very painful. And two, it's for keeping clothing out of the way of the string when it's coming in after you release it, because that can affect the shot. So anyway, I have one, of course, just to protect me, because especially on self bows with kind of a low brace height, that's what this is called, the length between the string and the riser. That's called the brace height. This is an actually pretty short brace height, so with a short brace height, it means a little bit more speed, but it also means that it's going to hit your arm a lot more. Especially, like I said, especially with self bows, it's going to do it quite a bit. So that's what the arm guard is for. It's very useful. It's very simple. I got it from a place called Three Rivers. It's a traditional arm guard made of pure leather, and you know, the string, you just kind of wrap it. I like the look of it a lot. But yeah, so that's the arm guard. Next thing, of course, is called the tab. This little guy right here. It's a 3-finger tab, and it doesn't have a spacer, and it's made of Cordovan leather. And I can hold on to have the arrow in between there, as you can see here, and that'll allow me to pull it back, reduce the amount of damage on my fingers pretty much, as well as make it so there's a clean release, so that the string has no problem coming out of my hands and going straight to the bow without any torque. because that can happen a lot when you're using just fingers. So yeah, that's the tab. It's actually a Fred Eichler tab, and Fred Eichler, if you don't know who he is, you can search him really quick. I'm sure he's going to be online somewhere. He's a professional hunter that does a lot of stuff on like the Outdoor Channel. I think so. Don't quote me on that. He's in a lot of hunting videos. I know that, so I'm assuming he's on the Outdoor Channel somewhere. So we got the tab, we got the arm guard, the bow, string. Now we move to the arrows. These arrows are just simple carbon arrows made by Easton. If you didn't know that, Easton started out making arrows, for all those of you who play sports and have Easton equipment. So Easton made these. I used to always shoot Easton. These are, it's called STXL. It's a cheap arrow because you don't need anything expensive when you're not very good. But I have 125 grains up front. That would be the weight of the point right there. And what that does is, I've specially tuned this thing because it's a long arrow. It's 32 inches. Usually when you're shooting a bow, you don't want anything that long. But in this case, a self bow, like I said earlier, it needs to have a lot of bend, and the longer the arrow is, the more flex it has when it's going around the bow or in the riser. So I need a long arrow, and the more weight up front will also make it flex more. And then that, of course, is added to the stability is used, or the stability is generated by feathers or fletching. And here you can see I have actual turkey feathers. They make these, and they're called a shield cut right there at the very end. You'll see that. And they have what's called a helical, which is where they curve around, and that increases the stability. So it's pretty simple. It's a cheap setup, but this is pretty much all you need for traditional archery. And of course, I got the quiver. This is a field quiver. It just kind of sits on your side like this. It's pretty good. I've always used one. I could get a back quiver. In fact, I might just for traditional archery, but this used to be my competition one. I just liked it. But yeah. Oh man, that's an opportunity right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this little overview. I've been standing kind of close to the camera to show you guys this stuff. Now I'm standing back, obviously. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and then maybe I'll do like a Q&A video for archery stuff. I got to go into setting up like beginner setups and stuff for you guys, because I know some people do want to get into it and don't know where to start. So I will go through. I'll show you where to buy the stuff. There's a lot of good sites online, but there's a couple that are better than others. And they'll tell you what you need, what you can start with. Sometimes you can even just go to Walmart, or if you have like a Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops nearby. But yeah, it's pretty simple stuff. Nothing too complicated. Yeah, I might as well end the video with a little bit of shooting. I don't know if you guys can see that target. Let me see. Oh yeah, you can, okay. It's got the other side. I've got like a Morel bag target. Let's see if I can hit it. I think I did. I was shooting right through there's like some grass, some of this tall grass stuff. Probably about 15 yards, that's not too bad. So I just wanted to shoot a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of play some music and shoot so you guys can watch. I got my Morel bag target right there, and then I have Mr. Rusty up there on the hillside, that's probably a good 22, 23 yards away. That's probably the furthest I've ever shot with this thing, so hopefully I can hit it. If I miss, don't make fun of me, I probably will. But I'll shoot 3 into the Morel bag and then a couple over at Rusty and see how we do. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I guess this can be my wrap up. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the archery videos. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. If I made a mistake, let me know. If you know more than me, I'm completely up for listening to you. Yeah, I think that's about it. Be looking forward to my Hawkeye bow that should be getting here soon enough. Hawkeye's bow. Anyway, let's get to shooting, shall we? I can't believe I just did that. That was probably one of my best groups ever. I missed two.